With no family support, no friends, no finance, no confidence, and often feeling isolated, many migrant women feel totally alone and do not know where to go for help. One woman who came without her husband's permission to a workshop I ran on domestic abuse told me she was not allowed to go out on her own, even to buy food for her 3-year-old son. She had to wait for her husband to come back from work and go with him. One woman said she had to accept the situation because her husband had sponsored her visa. This woman said her husband would punish her if he found out she had attended the workshop. She felt she had no choice but to accept the situation because he had sponsored her visa. If she didn't do what he said, he could send her home. It is shocking that almost 2 million people a year in England and Wales, 1.2 million women and 713,000 men experience domestic abuse, and that 2 women in England are killed by a partner or ex-partner every week. But an even greater number of people experience abuse without reporting it, and many of them are migrant women. In my PhD research study on the experiences of migrant women who had experienced of domestic violence in the UK, all the participants had migrated, when they were over 18, to the UK in the past 20 years and were separated or divorced because of domestic violence. I also run workshops for Solace Women's Aid, a charity that last year supported more than 10,000 women and children affected by domestic and sexual abuse. Domestic abuse is not limited by borders, culture, class, education, or migration status. But there is now considerable evidence to show that migrant women, women of color and women with low income are often at higher risk of domestic abuse. Of this group, migrant women, in particular, are far less likely to seek support. Most of the women I speak to blame themselves, feel ashamed and are reluctant to share what has happened, or is happening, to them. This is not unique to them, but several studies have shown that migration is a stressful and traumatic experience, and that factors such as not speaking the local language and a lack of family and social support puts these women at higher risk of domestic violence. When migration law gives a spouse control over the immigration status of family members, it forces many women to endure violence, as they are too afraid to seek help. The perpetrators reinforce their power by using women's immigration status to threaten them. Sociologist Liz Kelly, professor of sexualized violence at London Metropolitan University, has identified 6 stages of domestic violence. At the beginning, women try to manage the situation and hide it. They hope their partner will change.